G'day! Today we are continuing on playing Oxygen Not Included as we try to shoot for the stars. I haven't. I've filmed this not like pretty soon after the release of the other one, so if there are notes on that I don't address in this one, it's just because I haven't seen them. But I'll try and keep them in mind for the one after this video, so that it's got two videos worth of notes if they come through. Right now, I'm quite excited watching our ventilation here. The question, I guess, is this less than that? And I reckon it is. Just every so often you see a slightly fatter block go through. But also, if there's enough coming off these 2 points here, then I guess nothing would go through. I am really liking the possible sort of long-term benefits of having a good natural gas system. It does feel like eventually you could possibly have a pretty good layout. I wonder if there's another natural gas geyser, because this system would be good elsewhere too, I feel. If I go to... what's the best way? If I go oxygen overlay... It's not oxygen, it's just gas, isn't it? Sorry, in that screen, can I actually look at... No, it's just unbreathable. So none of them will really give it to me. I wonder if I can just locate geysers. Someone told me a long time ago there was a way to zoom out. If you go into photo mode, let's see if we can find the controls. Photo mode. Global tool. Like control shift something. There's a lot of buttons in this game. Take me 100 and something to look at this. Camera zoom speed minus. Pause move. Bugging. Sandbox. No. Do that. I could actually change the measurement of temperature to Kelvin. That would be handy if I was attempting to hit that achievement of going really low in Kelvin. That is one that I would like to do, just because it's an achievement and I like getting achievements. However, I feel like for that one, I would have to look it up. Like, someone has explained it to me once before on how I would do it, and it didn't quite... it seemed outside of my my ability. I felt like possibly what I was going to have to do was look it up, and I don't want to do that. Sometimes someone has occasionally suggested that I do something in the game and linked me to another video. That's a chlorine gas vent. I've never watched anyone else play Oxygen Not Included, and I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but to this point that I'm continuing on, I am enjoying that. I don't mind if someone suggests that I do something because I saw it in something else and they're just basically writing it out. But I don't... the idea that someone has to, in text, explain how to do something, and then I'm just taking a text description to then recreate, I like that. Doesn't look like there's any other vents around. But if I was just looking at what someone was doing and then I was like, all right, well, let me copy that, I feel like that's a little bit steal. Not a steal, but it feels ingenuine. Now, these rooms actually have a bit of natural gas sort of just floating around him. I realize that's what that guy's doing and that's where he's getting it from. I guess it's just because it's not getting to him as quick. There's also natural gas out and about in here. Not sure where that's come from. My natural gas system is my favorite thing. So if we have a look at the storing of this room here, we can see it goes 68, 69, 70. So we are still going up. Very slowly, but we are still going up. How's he doing? So he's currently active for the next, or he's active for another 54 cycles, and he erupts for about, what's that, almost 5 minutes every 8 minutes or so. Okay, so if we then go back to our other main focus of space travel, he's got his 390 kilos, so then we just have to say 500 and reset. Let him pump through, and so we can get the other half of that started. Now, let's have a look again at our liquid pipe. So currently, liquid coming back in is at 35, liquid going out is at 21. That seems pretty okay. I realize that for their last little bit here, this is insulated pipe, but it is in its last moments running through what will be the extremely hot room here. But that is insulated, so that shouldn't pull into it too much. I guess we'll see. We can see that this guy's still off. This guy's still off. Which is not good. But in both situations, we are attempting to address that by having this water here getting clean before it even arrives up in this section. But the problem is that, I guess the problem here is that both of these are just sort of churning through polluted water, so they're actually going a lot slower to find new water anyway, because they're both getting jammed because this guy is having to take so much water. So it is a problem because that's all of our drinking water is coming from those two things. So possibly what we need is a second water sieve up here. But again, it should only be temporary. The water that's coming down from up here, for the most part, is clean because it's coming from this steam vent. And the liquid that's coming up from our huge polluted water tank is sort of slowly getting clean as well. Crude oil, there's a lot of oil in there. That come from dropping it out of here. Oh, I do wonder if there's more liquid that I should try and get into this system. Not to, basically just to have as much water available to us as possible. We've obviously got all the water through this area that sort of ended up a lot lower than we would have wanted. I mean, this is all melting down here too. Possibly what we could do is shift... That's never been built. Unreachable build, I guess, because of this section here. Let's copy that. Let's make it a reachable build. But I mean, with this huge thing here, with there being pretty minimal crude oil in this section here, we get a bit too close to magma at that point, but that's all just polluted water as well. Maybe we should dig all the way to the bottom here. Infectious polluted oxygen vent. You buried under there? Infectious. I mean, it's just all sort of like, again, there's... I wonder if what I should do is try and claim this vent, though. So he's pretty common, too, in terms of the amount that he's sort of dishing out. So I feel like it's just that he's so far away. Now, if we tried to just use gravity to take advantage of this guy, we would cut down this way so that water from here runs downhill into this tank along with this. we could then sort of build across this way so that the water from there goes down this gap and then across. I mean, we could cut through there too, like all of that can be in fair play too. We don't need to save this room. Cut down this way so that this tank also becomes part of it. Run down, down, and then eventually hit over here as well. So I mean, it's far away from where we really want it to be. Can I terminate it in this room? Either the salt water would get in there too, and I don't have a filtration method for salt water. I suppose if I just did a straight drop from here down to there. Alright, let's do some digging. So, what we want to do is we'll copy this. We'll just make sure we're using the one we have most of. So we'll go igneous rock, straight across, straight down there. Then what we'll do is we'll say, well, we'll also put a ladder that runs straight down that way. So it'll be that this sort of drops in here. That comes out there. So maybe we want to dig from here. So we need to hit it way to that point. So maybe let's go up by 2s. Down, that's part of it. Then angle down. Again, we're probably a bit too high, so let's just jump that in 2s. But this pump already set up, so maybe all we need to do is just get this across to here. Talk to me about the plumbing of this pump. Where have I got that set to? So that there is just this letting liquid out because it's just that if that needs to ever be on, which at the moment hasn't been on for a while, but if that does kick on, this pipe goes up, up, up. Oh, there is something moving through it. Up, up, up into here. Interesting. So that runs into this tank, which is my sort of secondary tank. It's not drinking water. That's my clean this because it's germy water. That actually is getting quite low too. Now, in the worst case that this tank does actually empty, it will continue to get some looted water from the natural gas either way. But it does also... the fail-safe for that is that if that empties out, then the drinking water will just take over those duties. So it would just mean that that will always continue to sort of run with looted water slowly dripping through, but definitely not enough to cover all that stuff. So getting this extra in here would not be a bad thing. Let's also dig out, say, a 9 grid of the ceiling there. Do that on this side too. So this is still a section that's so hard to get to because you've got to come from here down, down. One of the best arguments for setting up a the tube is to set up a tube station here and then run them down to this section. So since this is just disconnected, we can just change its function, I think. get it, like, it would be nice to have it just drop the water in there. Which does seem sort of redundant that this pump doesn't just pump things up to where it needs to be. It's just pumping it into this tank. Alright, so that's now running all the way down there. So if we were to cut out, say, that, then we should see this water drop its way down into that tank as well. Now, I was going to say what we want to do too is probably catch this guy, shift him over that way, but I mean that won't work because that's basically a clean water tank now. Those guys are justify breaking our cap of 20 people. It's too hot in this room. These guys are going to die. It gets ever so close. Should I extend that just up the tiniest little bit? This is doing great, by the way, too. There are a lot of guys in there. Talk to me about skills, because I feel like this is something that we haven't looked at for a while. Especially our low-level people. Talk about skill points available. It's just available. Go to the top. So Meep's set, so he's doing thing. You love doctoring, so let's get you in some doctoring there, Quinn. Abe, you love decorating. You can treat yourself. No doctoring for you, so we definitely need to get you into suit wearing. No harm in making you a cook. Feel free to do some research too. Joshua, you've got no skills either, so let's get you suit wearing. And just everyone who doesn't have it, we definitely want them in there. Murray, it's been a while since we've visited. I think I need someone, who was someone that had nothing? Joshua, are you pretty capped? So you're down to 4 points available. We need someone to do help look after the animals too, I think, which would be ranching. Let's get you in there ranching as well, please. Okay, so with this sort of drop off here, what we'll then do is we will uproot all these plants on the roof. I can actually deconstruct them, cool. Deconstruct roof there, and we'll dig out all those sort of squares. And what we'll do is we'll take another ladder and we'll build it up the edge of this. So this ladder, we want to go sort of to there, and it will go up into there. We just don't want to break through the roof until we've dug out the section there. And we do also need to give them a way to get from one side to the other. Just got to keep a quick eye on them because they may dig themselves into not being connected here. Like, can Hassan get back? Yes, now he can. Okay, so definitely need that square gone too. Because this will be the first square we dig out. Oh, it doesn't have to be. We can go dig that. Those two if you can reach them. Dang it. A tiny little bit of overflow there. Got all that wasted water. Someone mop that up. It's wasted water too. Okay, then ladder. We want to copy you and take you all the way up to there. We'll so copy a tile, chuck it there just to make that wall a little bit harder to get over. Mop all of that. How's that for mopping? It's acceptable? Cool. Well, then I'll do that rather than change anything about the floor. I won't cut down this way so that that gets through. What we might do though is I'll just copy that, and we might just make sort of a bit more of a lip to for this to get down a bit further that way. And can we move this sort of liquid into storage? Obviously those things that have no storage available, we cancel the sweep on them, but let's try and at least save that water for something. How's that doing for these guys? And then what we want to do is have a look at the plumbing again, then just let that pipe deconstruct. Speed things up while we're here. I suppose I need to make that just an emergency so someone gets down here nice and quick. Great, and it looks like we managed to pull that off without getting liquid anywhere. Always a win. This is packed. That's great. How are we doing for foods? So, barbecue, we've got a fair few calories, so it's good. So it means that we're getting a lot of food out of this. That's a neat little system we've got there. I mean, to make more food, all we could do is just double that. Just make a second one below it. There's heaps of them in there anyway. It's a so they can feel free as well. Like that one block out of there, so I guess we've got to just build one ladder point over to get that done. Same thing will happen over here, so we'll build a ladder to get that one square out too. a great job of cleaning all that up. I mean, there's only so many suits they can actually take coming out this side, so... And what, 4 people that can work over here at any time. Hey, Meep, good to see you doing other things. Alright, how are we doing on our rocket? And another 200 kilos worth of stuff. I do feel like surely eventually I'm going to run out of steam in this room. I mean, in 2 different ways. I'm going to run out of steam because this hasn't been running for so long that that steam's surely got to be gone. But, I feel like this guy over here's got to be close. It's just that, he's not pumping that often. I mean, the thing is that, like, I really should address this. Here's my idea for how to address this, actually. This guy here, that liquid pump, disable him. So the idea is going to be, this guy stops pumping for a while until this guy can sort of clean himself out. Like, neither of them are achieving anything at the moment. This guy's not sending water down to this guy, so he's not on. This guy's not sending liquid down either, so he's not on. So if we can sort of just flick it so that one of them's more like we're doubling the chance of this guy actually getting down to it, better we are. The problem is the same as exactly like what's down, where are we? Down here anyway, is that clearly this pipe needs, like, takes less fluid than what can be pushed through in the pipe. So it's not like it's a smooth system running. Why is that completely stopped? Oh, because it's fully pressured because it's underwater. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, because it just means that that's not going to push, like, while this has more water in it than I need. You can sort of leave it like that, but it's not going to... I mean, it means that all that work I'm doing for, like, adding even more water to it probably isn't that necessary. He's moving a little bit more, but... And I mean, with every pump, it is less... less polluted water that's in here. It's just the problem is the polluted water is heavier. The other thing that we could do, actually, is also, like, say, just put a second pump here and have him, just, like, put 2 blocks there, put a pump there, and then have him connected to the same cable. And then he would just be pumping clean water to get that guy down the bottom going. That's not a bad idea. So let's go mesh tiles. Do mesh tiles there, followed by liquid pump. Go there. He connects to this same piping. And I assume he also needs a power. If wires, so then he can just go, just connect to that one. Because that won't interfere with this guy trying to clean out the water, and it also means that we'll actually have one of our systems working. Because the other problem is that while these pumps haven't been working, these guys have been trying to cool the water, and as long as that, you can see that the water is actually completely empty in here too. And while that water hasn't been cooling, like while they haven't just been doing that process of cooling water, it also means that this water is getting slightly warmer. So they're not even gonna, like even once they do get back to churning through water, they're actually not gonna be accepting any of the water into the tank. It's too hot. And I mean, that guy's going to be working with the water that's on top as well, so he's also going to be working with the hotter water. So he's going to be cycling water through, but not necessarily anyone is going to be accepting any water here. So we're in an interesting phase here. But as you can see right there, this is pretty dire. Get something working. Okay, so it's at least a mild victory that we've got some water moving through. Genuinely, the question then should be, is there any reason why this tank shouldn't just be taking this water? Like, why does it have to go all the way to the top to then just come back to here? I suppose that water actually is going to be hotter. Water in this tank is also going through that cooling process, that if this guy was only feeding through water from this bottom tank, he wouldn't ever accept anything, because he would only ever be sort of seeing that hot water. This guy on the bottom, he's doing alright. Again, like I said, this one we need to set up to give him a steam turbine. I think that means that he actually got to a point where he was cooking quicker than this guy finished pumping out air. Why is your pipe blocked? That gas pipe there. Why did you break? They need to be sort of stronger. Ceramic? Got a bit of ceramic. It's if that helps. That one too. Let's break this whole section then, shall we? Although, also, it means this guy's now, I fixed a thing that I don't want working. He's now pumping out gas. Steam, rather. I want to keep that steam. Alright, so why is your pipe blocked now? Did I break something? Oh, of course, because that thing's now... That's flooded. Okay. This is a two-way street. So this guy, connecting into here, is now a problem. But I guess we want to just go... I mean, I only want so much water to actually move up into this room, though. There's a certain point where it's like, well, that's too much. So I don't mind this guy having that failsafe. But it just means that I've got to change where this guy's liquid's going to. Alright, so how do we fit another tube through here? I think it must be that we go... This guy comes up and he takes that, and that's fine. There's something else connected to that pipe. That's this. That maybe I should look into that, because that could suit this other guy that I had set up. For this guy, so once he comes out of there, what if we go, say, go plumbing? What if he goes straight up, jumps there, straight up, make this even messier, straight up, there, jump, then across here he can jump, and jump, and then across, cancel that one, copy, then go there. So then what we want to do is get our liquid bridge. We want green as output, so we turn it around, just make sure the arrow's facing the right way. It is, but I can't do that actually, so let's do that. And then we go back to that liquid pipe and just have to connect like that. Liquid bridge. There. There. And then we say deconstruct that. We'll put that with emergency because I want to clean it up as soon as it happens. Although, will that liquid fall to where it needs to go? Sort of. Still ask it to clean up those 3 layers, but the majority of it will just sort of go back into its major. It's a shame though to see that some of that's going in there, but we can always shift that to go in here because this thing here is getting rid of the oil, so we can at least use that oil. Then what we should see once that's all built is that guy to have a bit more of a license to continue to drop stuff, but this shouldn't sort of flood too much more because that major influx of water is all coming from that. A lot of water along here too. Alright, well that's where we'll call it there today. Still lots of infrastructure stuff going on. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.